Hey, this is Heidi with America's Meanest Cars, and on today's CarCast presented by Reilly Auto Parts, we have JohnRoss from WatchJRGo.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
What are we in today?
We are in my 67 Camaro.
Okay.
Yep.
And what is special about this one?
Well, it's like a fully built resto-mod.
Okay.
So 496 big block, fast XFI fuel injection, and everything else you'd want on your resto-mod. Custom built wheels, QA1 suspension, Caltrans, ladder bars, all the bolt-ons you could put to make a 496 pretty under the hood.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you actually like about this car?
This car is like the epitome of perfect Camaro to me. So it makes all the right noises. It's insanely loud. It's got the white rally stripes.
Yeah.
Black parchment interior, which is the other key for me. And
Do you like the black versus the different color?
I think Camaros should probably just be black.
Really?
Yeah, first gen Camaros.
Okay.
They look so good in the black. So I've got two of these. The other one's getting painted to match this one.
Okay.
Which is pretty dumb. Like, who needs two of the same thing?
I
But
mean,
it looks right.
You can always have more than just one. There's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
wrong with
right?
that.
I think people say
As
that.
long as you have the space or can find space for it,
Yeah.
I think you're good there.
Yeah, we'll just keep finding space for 67 Camaros.
Yeah.
Because they're cool.
Is there anything that you've done with this car or that you want to take it anywhere?
So this one is mostly just maintaining it. So
Okay.
big block maintenance bills. That stuff adds up every once in a while, and you have to do things you don't have to do with modern cars, like
Right.
rocker adjustments and change the plugs pretty often, and just kind of go through everything. So actually, just a couple weeks ago, every single fluid got changed. Everything got
Okay.
resealed because the diff started to drip, and so everything is fresh in this car right now. And I kind of wanted to go do like power tour or some
Ooh.
of the cross country drives.
So
with
does
it.
this have AC?
Yeah, technically, but it's not
Oh.
charged and it leaks. So it leaks too fast to keep the
Okay.
charge on it.
Have you done power tour before?
No, I haven't,
Okay.
but I know that you need AC.
You need AC.
You need AC.
Because a couple years ago I went on and we were at 105 to feels like 111,
Yep.
15 maybe.
And then cooking
It was
in a metal car.
it was the most terrible and wonderful thing at the same time. Where
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die a lot of times. So
Yeah.
get that AC working. Otherwise, don't go.
I'm a big fan of the windows. I mean,
Oh,
they do.
these are fun though.
Yeah, so we've
These
got
are-
wing windows.
Yeah, the
It
wing
stays
windows.
even on the hot days. You just feel the sweat on you,
Yeah.
but you're not like pouring sweat because
Yeah.
there's enough air movement. But it does need the air fix. It has vintage air. It has a full system. It has everything but cruise control for the most part.
I mean,
So-
that's whatever.
Yeah,
Especially if you do something with power tour and that's what you're doing is you're wanting to utilize and play with your car a little bit.
exactly.
So have you?
Yeah.
And you said you haven't done a power tour.
I haven't done a power tour.
Okay, are you
It's
gonna do
always
it
been.
with this-
Actually, wait, I lied. I did.
Freaking liar.
But we only did. I don't count it because we started in Oklahoma City and went to KC.
Okay.
Which
So you didn't do the full one.
We didn't.
You just did a
yeah,
section.
we just came on as like a 1 or a 2 section, and that's why that doesn't count at all.
Yeah.
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 And we were in a GTR, so it was the easiest thing on the planet, right?
Right.
Just a full bolt-on GTR with
Yeah.
some nice toys.
So that was your plan A at the time.
No, it was actually, I just got thrown in on it. One of my friends was going, didn't have anyone in the passenger seat, and was like, do you want to co-pilot, drive for me
Yeah.
sometimes? And I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I think he asked me the day before, and of course I was like, yeah, of course, pick me up in the morning.
Yeah. Do you ever do any racing with it, or you just
With
this
this?
more at like a cruiser?
No, it's very much not a race car, honestly.
Just too pretty.
It's too pretty, and it's just not fast in reality.
Yeah.
I mean, like 500 horsepower in a big block without
Yeah.
that much of a tire. It's wheel spin, smoke, great sounds, and probably 13-second quarter miles, let's be
That's so
honest.
fun, though.
It might run 12s, but it made 500 wheel, which is okay.
Yeah. So
It's
did
just
you
not
dyno
fast.
it or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Wichita Dyno did all the tuning and dynoed it here in town, and it made good power. But when you drive it compared to a modern car or a race car that has traction and a good tire,
Right.
it just feels slow.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I don't believe I'll win any races in it, so I just don't take it racing.
Do you go just to win?
Yeah, I guess. I figure just avoid it until you can win, right?
Okay, yeah.
Is that?
I get that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to keep that competitive spirit going.
Absolutely.
And, yeah,
Absolutely.
go
Yeah.
for
You don't want to show up in a nice car and then lose.
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's a nice, slow car that's pretty, there's something about that, though, too.
People do appreciate this thing. Gets a lot of smiles, waves. Honestly, the most older crowd I've ever seen pulling their phones out on the road and recording,
Oh,
right?
that's so
The ones
cute.
that are saying don't record or use your phone while driving, but their phones are out.
Do you get the, like, the iPad people?
I haven't seen an iPad while driving, but I've seen
Okay.
a lot of people will just sit in your blind spot so they can record. So you have to kind of drive like this just to make sure you're not going to hit anybody.
Now, when you have people that go, are you a waiver or not a waiver?
Oh, I'll wave back
Okay.
if they wave.
Yeah.
Or give them the nod.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many people that are just not very friendly sometimes.
That's true. I waved at a guy yesterday, and he like looked at the wave and then turned his head so obviously away. I was like, all you have to do is go like this, bro, like one finger.
I say that like that I should be a waiver,
Uh-huh.
but most of the time if I'm driving, my face is pretty flat.
Yeah,
So unless I'm paying full attention, I'm not a waiver.
it makes sense.
But if I'm paying attention, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, you didn't wave back to me.
Right. It's honestly,
Jerk.
it's a crime to not wave back.
Yeah.
And
But I
this
feel
is
like it's
Kansas.
I was gonna say it's a very Midwestern.
Yes.
If you don't get it, then something's wrong.
Yeah. Are we even neighbors? Like
Yeah.
you didn't wave back today.
Yeah. Are you mad at me? Awesome.
Absolutely. So.
What other cars do you enjoy? Because like this is more muscle.
So this was kind of my dream 67 Camaro.
Okay.
And it belonged to my best friend, and I've been driving it for him to all the events for like shows and things for
Yeah.
about the last 6 years because he has a bunch of cars. And it's honestly quite the handful to drive.
Yeah.
Right, because the gearbox is tricky, and even though it's on fuel injection, it doesn't like to go slow at all. So first gear, it likes to get into like an idle surge.
Oh yeah.
And then you're sitting in here like going like this, and everybody freaks out about it,
Yeah.
slams the clutch in, and you fix it by just like the slightest touch on the throttle, and it'll clean up. So you just have to be able to push past it bucking.
Yeah.
So even though it's streetable for what it is, it's kind of a pain. So I was always driving this for him, and I bought another one, and I wanted to build the exact same car, which is why the other one will be black with white rally stripes like this car.
Are you gonna twin it? That's
No,
Okay.
it's got an LS in it.
oh yep.
Yeah, an LS with the glide. It's got the factory power glide behind the LS, and it drives pretty nicely. I know nobody's really into power glides on the street anymore, and it's not fast enough to need a power glide.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun having a 2-speed.
Yeah.
And I like that car the way it is. It starts right up. It has no idle surge. And, I bought this one after the fact when I was building a clone of it, and now I'm just going to build the other one so it's even nicer to drive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be much slower.
Okay.
No twins, no nitrous, just a stock LS that
Yeah.
you get in and turn the key and take it to dinner, hopefully.
Yeah.
It has air conditioning, so
Oh good. Whew.
yeah,
Especially Kansas. Good lord.
absolutely.
I don't know how you could deal with it without it, but
Yeah. And then I have a few other vintage cars. I've got a 65 Ford F100.
okay.
And of course, we built my Rolls Royce that's LS swapped. It's a 79 Rolls Royce Silver Wraith 2 with an LS6 in it. Everything Holly makes for the most part, because it's on a Holly Terminator X Max for
Okay.
management. It's got the huge screen in it that you see at all the drag race events because it's cool. And a bunch of nitrous from Nitrous Outlet. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What do you take that out for?
I don't take that out anymore because
Oh.
we built it, did some burnouts, and then blew the rear end apart.
So it's not commissionable, right?
Yeah, it's still sitting like as is, but it needs a whole new like a
Okay.
back half.
Okay.
It needs some race car stuff. Yeah.
That's always fun though.
So, but it's cool looking.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to see it. Is that here?
It's not here. No. This shop is a little full, so I started overflowing my cars to my sister's building,
Okay.
and that's where a lot of the stuff is.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that sounds like a lot of LS stuff. Is that?
It is. I
Kinda
do
your-
mostly LS stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that thing inside and out, and I love Gen 3, Gen 4 engines. That's kind of my sweet spot. So I'd rather work on LS engines than the big block in this most these days.
Now,
Most
from my
days.
understanding, you kind of like supercars too. How does that?
Yeah.
How does that battle work, or is it not really a battle?
No battle at all for me.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. It doesn't matter. Like from day to day, I'll drive anything, and I'm a big supercar fan just because like I said, get in and drive. It's
Yeah.
always, it's a nice
Yeah.
place to be, right?
Right.
You don't have to think about anything other than the battery being dead.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and that's frequent enough,
yeah, it
depending on how
is.
much you're driving and
Yeah,
whatnot.
absolutely. Honestly, it's kind of a big thing on my channel that everybody is like, if you would just buy battery tenders, but I refuse.
Why?
Well, I should just drive the cars more.
It's hard to get to all of them.
It is
though.
hard to get to all of them.
And like the more you get, the harder to maintain all of them at the same time.
I stay at a level, and I try not to buy more than the level. Like it never
What's your
exceeds
level?
20. Yeah,
That's still kind of a higher level.
it might be. It might be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even if you were to drive every single one day a week,
I know.
that
You're
cycle
talking
is
almost a month.
almost a month.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Is there a specific supercar that you like?
You know, I'm kind of into everything, but mostly Lamborghini and McLaren.
Okay.
Even though I only have a Maserati right now. It doesn't even count as a supercar.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Maserati.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I consider Maserati to be like just luxury.
So less super, more luxury.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's a good car. We use it for all of our like fun driving right now. Things you'd never want to take this on, like canyon runs and
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Would you want to ever do anything fun like that in this?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
This car it's still an old car underneath.
Right.
It's not a chassis car, which all the really, really nice ones do get chassis under them
Right.
from like Roadster Shop or somebody like that. But, a chassis, 100,000
Yeah.
on top of, more than the car.
Right.
More, by quite a bit. And then you finally have a modern car with a tight front end and real brakes and all that fun stuff. This is very much still an old car underneath, even if it's all fresh. The suspension's great, but above 100, you're kind of like, you fear for your life pretty
Yeah.
quickly. And the front end, it has no power steering, so it's got like a lot of bump steer, which is all sketchy when you're trying to go make like canyon runs, mountain passes,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stay away from that stuff in this car and cruise around town and have fun.
Got it.
Yeah.
Where did you first start? Like, have you always been into automotive? And like, when did that start?
Pretty much. When I rebuilt my first engine when I was 5, lawnmower engine, single cylinder, Briggs and
Okay.
Stratton 3.5s, and then I made
5, right? I heard 5.
3.5 horsepower.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. 5 years old.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first. It was an old Toro self-propelled push mower, like a 21, and I loved that mower. Yeah, it was awesome. And then we would go pull mowers out of the trash all the time. So like Sears, their like maintenance department or whatever, they just throw tons away behind the store, and they'll have a dumpster, and then beside it like a row of stuff they got rid of, washing machines and lawnmowers mostly.
Okay.
So we would take everything that was reasonable, like all the Kenmore washing machines and dryers, and then all of the mowers we could get our hands on. And the mowers, there's never anything wrong. Those Briggs and Strattons are bulletproof. So it was like take them home, carb rebuild, sell them at a garage sale, and we would make all of our money like
Yeah.
that as kids. Right?
Yeah.
So lots of washing machine and dryer rebuilds, and lots of mowers and weed eaters.
And then when did that transition into car?
When I was old enough to really do cars, I was doing it before. Like, I think the first engine I rebuilt was a 454 and like a 79 dually that was my dad's. So we rebuilt that when I was pretty young, and we were just fixing stuff that you had to fix to live, right?
Yeah.
Like the truck,
Yeah.
the truck was about to lose a bearing, so we pulled the engine
Right.
apart, rebuilt it. Not for kind of fun like we do now.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just
But I mean, you have to get your bearings somewhere and then move up.
Yeah, so we were just fixing our cars, did that until I had my car. And then my first car, we bought it. I don't remember what was wrong with the engine, but my parents got it for like $300, said they'd give it to me in exchange for my motorcycle. So I had to trade them my Yamaha Enduro 175 to get my Mazda. And then the engine I think it was just low oil pressure, but it also needed a clutch. So we bought the whole engine rebuild kit, went through the whole thing, put a clutch in it, and then that was my car.
So how did that transition into YouTube?
So I'm kind of an early YouTuber. I think it started in 05, and my
Okay.
channel is from like late 05, early 06.
Okay.
And I was still in junior high when high school when YouTube came out.
Okay.
And I figured that was kind of cool because I'm always been into technology, computers, cameras, things like that, media class, And when we had a place to post all that online, I was like, well, we got to get on this. So I have videos from probably right when YouTube started.
Really?
And then there was a huge gap where I tried a few things. Like one was we were going to destroy terrible technology like copiers. Turns out people didn't like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, we had all just watched Office Space.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, why don't we destroy printers and copiers? It's super fun with the sledgehammer. So that didn't work out. And I tried a few other things, a lot of event coverage, early drag racing stuff, early YouTube drag racing stuff. And that was fun. And then eventually, Casey Neistat's channel was like the thing that we all watched every
Yeah.
day because he makes incredible videos.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't we apply Casey Neistat to cars?
Yeah.
And that's where my channel came from. Daily vlogs, and early ones were very styled like Casey's too.
His style is just
It's
unreal.
insane.
Unreal.
Yeah, when you watch one of his videos, you're like, wow, that was great. And then you watch it a second time or pay attention.
Yeah.
And you're like, there were 50,000 cuts in this.
Absolutely.
How did you find
and
all this
how did
B-roll?
your mind just like process all that into different
Yes.
clips and like the storytelling aspect of it?
His
It's
storytelling
wild.
is unbelievable.
Amazing.
So I think my early stuff was a little more geared towards that
Mm-hmm.
with good storytelling and maybe those incredible cuts where 1 second he's in New York and then the next second it's the same sentence but he's finishing the thought and it's in LA, you know,
Yeah.
which was wild stuff. Nobody had ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of the goal with the channel. And then it just turned into we just work on cars every day.
Yeah.
So that's what my channel is now. And it was I don't know, it's been about 7 years of full-time YouTube or something like that.
Is there a car that you don't like working on?
Ooh, there is a car I don't like working on, and I can't think of like what it would be. There's quite a few cars, but I work on so many that it's tough to
Right.
like instantly pinpoint
Right.
something that I hate
Yeah.
working on. I mean, I think you have a Z28 Camaro, right?
Yeah.
And I also, that was like my first fun car was my
Yeah.
Z28 Camaro, LT1 car. That's probably pretty high up on cars I don't actually like working on.
That like hurts my soul,
I'm-
but like I get it. But it makes sense.
I mean, when I was a kid, when I had them, my hands were somehow smaller, and I still could not get those back spark plugs without getting cut up. Now, also, we didn't have any tools back then. Like, we didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
Nowadays, we're like, you know, if you had like the swivel sockets from Harbor Freight that were
Right.
custom built for the Camaro, basically, it's probably easy. But we didn't have any of that stuff. All we had was 3 different extensions and a socket set.
Yeah.
So you figure it out. It's a nightmare to work on the LT1 in the Camaro. And also, I just did a C4 Corvette, and everything I did on it, no big deal. But if I had to work on the engine, I'd probably bail on the car.
Really?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the C4 is also probably one of my favorites.
Is it? Yeah, it's that LT1. That LT1 gets me every time.
But why? I love the body style. I love the squishiness of it.
They're
Just
beautiful
so
cars.
great.
I love the way they look. I love the way the C4
Look,
looks.
yes.
I love the way the first gen and the second gen of the fourth gen Camaro look.
Yeah.
You know, the first half and the second
Yeah.
half. Love them both. I even love the catfish, even though people.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The catfish
is great.
Honestly, I like it more than the faster looking headlights on the early ones now. But it's because the LS is inside it, and I think I look through the headlights and see the true beauty of the car, and it's all the fact that it has an LS1.
Yeah.
And the LT1 kind of just,
Ruined it for you?
it ruined it for me. It ruined it for me. And the thing is, the LT1, no matter what anyone says, is like a Gen 1 350 Chevy with fuel injection slapped on it. So I'm really into modern drivetrains that make more power in general.
Yeah.
So that's why the LS1 is it for me. Or LT1, the newer
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite then?
Uh,
Or ones that are just more fun?
5.3 truck engines.
Oh, okay.
Junkyard engines that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never really let you down. But if I had to have a favorite one, it'd be like the new LT5 or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
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 Very-
C8 Corvette.
Yeah. Ah, yes.
Yep.
Is there something that you don't have in your possession right now that you want to
C8 Corvette.
see? Makes sense.
Yeah, C8 Corvette.
I see a theme here.
Corvettes, yeah. So I do Corvettes day in and
Yeah.
day out. And C5s, because they have the right engine in them.
Yep.
So the C5 is kind of one of those perfect blend cars. It's not really the hero car that we thought it was back in 2000, you know, 1999, 2000. Now you drive it compared to anything modern, you're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievably reliable. I mean, I had a C5 with 300,000 miles on it,
Oh, no way.
and I sold it to a friend that kept driving it until he drove it into a flood and finally seized it up. But 300,000 miles on a C5 is no problem at all, and it's just because of the LS1. So
That's crazy.
yeah, big fan of C5s.
Besides working on cars, is there a specific genre that you enjoy, like racing, drag racing, auto?
You know, I do mostly street stuff, but if
Okay.
it was racing, it would be like track events and like touring, things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Less drag racing, honestly. I've done plenty of drag racing, you know, kind of grew up doing that.
Right.
But after a while, I'm like, yeah, let's go have fun somewhere or make it even more competitive.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
What do you find that's more competitive then?
Just track driving. And
Okay.
yeah.
Do you feel like just more driver skill?
Yeah, yeah.
Skill.
Somewhat driver skill. You still have quite the
Yes.
mix of cars
Yeah.
until you're in like sanctioned class racing, right? So since it's normally like what they would call like high performance touring or something like that, it's just everybody driving their own car. So you already know if you're coming out with some power
Right.
and a good setup, you're gonna
Yeah.
you can probably set the lap time of the day, which is the only thing I care about at the end of the day is being
Yeah.
like, hey, look at this,
Right.
I won.
Now, besides cars, because I think that can be so focused on life and you can just get into it so much, is there something that you enjoy besides automotive?
Yeah, I do a lot of technology stuff. I have another YouTube channel that does retro tech,
Okay.
old school phones, old school computers, and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's all the stuff we grew up on when technology was more than a dumb black box, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's the smartest black box
Right.
in all time, of all time. But it's not fun anymore, right? I mean, phones are all the same slab.
They
And
kind of are, yeah.
old school phones, keyboards, crazy sliding actions, flip phones. It was so fun. And we see a little bit of that today with like the folding razor and,
Yeah.
you know, Samsung folds and stuff like that.
Right.
But for the most part, there's no innovation. So I really enjoy the old technology when people were just throwing everything at the wall.
Right.
I mean, like, someone will buy it.
Right.
And we all bought it because it was cool.
What time span do you think is like the best for that
Two-
technology words?
Yeah.
Work, that span.
It's like 1996 to like 2006 would actually be the very tail end of like the really cool technology. So there were like 10 years of wild innovation, just and wild stuff that maybe we shouldn't have even been buying because it was
Yeah.
so dumb.
What's
But-
what's a dumb thing that you can think of?
Oh, I don't know, weird sliding actions that didn't need to happen, like screens that open like this and stuff like that, you know, and like the
Yes.
sidekicks pivot screen.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
Man, I feel
things
like that's aging me.
Well, I mean, aging all of us at this
Oh
point.
my gosh. But yeah, no, I forgot about all of like
They were
the
all
weird
cool.
ones.
Everything was cool.
Yeah.
But it could have all probably been dialed into either slide up or flip open.
I remember I had a phone that it actually had a little antenna because it had a TV.
Gotta have the antenna.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool until I didn't like how it worked, so I returned it almost immediately.
That makes sense. Totally
I don't
makes
think
sense.
the technology was quite there for it, but the idea of it was really cool.
I mean, we had stuff where the screen just turned sideways for no reason. Remember, there was that one phone where you would turn it, it had the keypad down here, and the screen would just go like sideways, and that was the only difference. Like,
Yeah, why?
we had crazy stuff back in the day, and those were like the really memorable pieces of technology and core memories for a lot of us at this point.
Yeah.
So I love that stuff.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Is that where like you're tech based and that's just intrigues that part of you?
Yeah, I kind of grew up in that sweet spot of, you know, Windows 3.1 at the tail end, and then like Windows 95, 98, and like working on those computers as a kid. And then that turns into working on computers as an adult, and that turns into absolutely loving computers and cars.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a huge proponent of all screen dashes and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as long as it actually works.
I was gonna say because
yeah.
I feel like that's something that I prefer, like real buttons. But you're a screen.
100%.
Pro screen.
Yeah, Mercedes Hyperscreen, the one where it's like screen from end to
Yeah.
end and then giant screen in the middle. I love it.
Do you feel
I
that
love
that stuff is like the technology behind it is going to be substantial in the future, or
Um,
do you think that's in a weird spot where it's just
I think it'll just continue to exist.
continue to exist? But do you think it's going to continue to work?
Yeah.
Yeah?
no problem at all. I don't ever see any of that stuff break. What normally breaks is like CAN bus communication, but like the screens and the infotainment, that stuff just works.
See, that's the
So,
part that always kind of freaks me out. I'm like, why do I don't not sure if I want to invest in something like that. Like, to me, I see that as something that is
might
going to
break.
be something I need to
It might.
fix or break.
It
Or
might
not
break. But you know, the rest of my take on cars is they all break. As a person who works on broken cars all
That
day
is
long.
true.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what it is. You can take care of it, and it won't break until 150,000 miles when you start putting money into it. But at the end of the day, it's all gonna break. And the screens don't bother me at all because screens are replaced as a unit, and they're usually like $150.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes it seem a lot more
Yeah,
obtainable and not so crazy.
everyone's like, yeah, your screen on your Tesla is going to cost $1,000. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like $75 on eBay. Like, what are you talking about?
That is pretty wild to think of. I've never thought of like,
Yes.
okay.
So I try to like look at all of it as a holistic view, which people don't like because they either have A or B takes. It's either I don't like screens, it's distracting and should be illegal, or maybe they love screens, but they don't see like the middle ground of like what's it going to cost to replace, what is going to break, and then the only thing that actually matters is what's it like driving the car every day. And at the end of it, no matter what your take is, it has to work. Because
Right.
you should never have to push something twice to make something
Right.
It has to work.
What's something, as part of it, is there like a specific thing that you look on to see if like it's a good one? Like you specified like the Mercedes, but is there like something that you would say that was?
I like the
Does that make
Mercedes
sense?
because it's outrageous.
Okay.
Like it's ridiculous having
Yeah.
an end-to-end screen.
Yeah.
So it just it makes my heart happy because it's just like old cell phones, right? Like Mercedes is trying crazy things.
Okay.
And and
So
why
this
not?
level of innovation.
Yeah, so the innovation's great, and then all the new Chevys that run on an Android Auto as a back end, those ones are like really, really rough. The Mercedes one works. The new Chevys, not so much. They'll get there. Give it 2 more years.
Yeah.
Everybody's figuring it out. But at the end of the day, it's basically just everything has to function, and every feature in the car needs to be pretty quickly accessible without digging through menus or anything like that, right? If you start burying core functionality of the car, I hate that car automatically,
Okay.
right? So it has to be well done, and it should be as accessible as it would be if you had straight buttons.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. I'm so glad to hear that take because I was a hater.
Are
I'm
you?
gonna be honest.
Just drive a bunch of stuff.
I've driven
that's
a
the
decent
key.
amount, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, is that gonna be? Is that gonna work in the next 5 years? Is that gonna be?
Yeah.
Is it just gonna go too fast, or is
Well,
it gonna be?
It'll work for
sustainable?
5 years because they're probably warranting it for 10.
Right.
So
That's true. Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
rest of the take is like if the car manufacturer has a good warranty, you're already fine. Who cares about the third owner? You're the first owner, maybe. I'm always the 7th owner, and I can tell you what most cars look like on 7th owner, and it's fine, right? I mean, sure, there's all the lights are on the dash, and everyone's like, well, it's unreliable and broken. And I'm like, I don't know, it just drove across the country.
Yeah.
So who cares if all of it works? But for the most part, I also have, owned 10-year-old Teslas that work perfectly and stuff like that. So it's all over the place. A lot of it's
cool.
care, and I really don't worry too much about the rest of it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. As far as this projects you have going on, is there anything that you're excited about coming up in the future?
Well, we are doing a full body swap with an old International L110 truck onto an S10 I built a few years ago with an LS in it. So that's going to be kind of cool. That should be at LS Fest later this year.
Ooh, which LS Fest? are you
LS Fest
doing?
East.
Okay.
For sure. I
Awesome.
love all the LS Fests, but I don't have time to make the other ones, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
can see
Texas
that.
is a couple
Really
weeks.
close,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that wouldn't happen. I like having the time crunches. I like the 30-day schedules to build a whole car, and we've done that before plenty of times. But it's also nice to like build the car
Right.
the way we actually want it to stay for 10 years.
Yeah,
So
that sounds really cool.
that's coming up. Should be fun. And obviously, roller coasters and a racetrack at the same time are like the ultimate combo. So
Yeah.
I love LS Fest East.
Yeah.
And we won't make West just because it's a drive.
I haven't made it out to any of the LS stuff yet.
You haven't?
That's on my list.
Super fun.
That's I'm gonna. That's this year is my plan to get there.
They do everything. They've got drag racing, drifting, the whole, grand champion.
Yeah.
So triple class, autocross, and I'm a big autocross fan too. So
What do you autocross the stuff you bring, or just like it in general?
I have. It depends on what I bring. It depends
Can
on.
you do it with the truck?
No chance.
Come
Maybe.
on.
Maybe.
Can you imagine?
I
How
want to
cool that
say
would
no
look?
chance.
Don't. There's always a
But
chance.
there is a chance, but there's usually a chance when
Probably not.
I bring a Corvette.
Do it with the truck. Just see you going through the.
It would be cool.
That would be cool.
It would be
The video would be awesome.
The video would be cool. I think my thought process of it being no chance is there's going to be so much weight added to the top of that truck. It's going to take a lot for us to get the suspension to work. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
It's a much bigger truck than the S10. S10 is
Yeah.
like, it's got a low CG, looks cool, looks like it's meant to go fast. And we're changing the whole setup. We're losing the big wide tires off the S10 and everything.
Okay.
And going to like a vintage look.
Okay.
So it's probably not the best choice, but it could be fun.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Is
That's what
doing
it's about.
Fun.
Yeah,
Add
absolutely.
the fun aspect of it.
I'm down. Maybe. That's
He's down. We're gonna see this. I'm gonna just strong arm you into
well.
making do
You
it.
have to show up to LS Fest. That's the
Maybe.
key.
Okay, deal. If I make it, you're autocrossing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We shook on it.
It's done now.
Now I've got a lot to figure out now.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Now this is our O'Reilly podcast.
Yeah.
So, my question is, everybody's favorite thing to get is brake cleaner.
Yeah.
What is something that you actually go there for that's not brake cleaner that
So
you like?
I have a lot of brake clean, and then I only, for the most part, only have Super Start batteries. I always change to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got some crazy, like old Super Starts that are still living, like a Platinum that's in the 65 that might be pushing 7 years now. That's still, yeah,
All right.
crazy, especially for one. That one's on a battery tender though. It's kind of cheap. It's the one that's on a battery tender
Yeah.
because I care about that truck a lot and it doesn't get driven enough. So, that one gets
Yeah.
taken care of. And
Is that in your garage?
it's
then?
in, yeah,
Okay.
it's in the house garage where it belongs. Close.
Where it belongs.
Close.
To your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was my grandpa's.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that one's a cool old truck. And then the Rain-X windshield kits, I go through a lot of those. And we use pretty much Syntec oil in roughly everything. But I'm just there every day for the most part.
Right.
Yeah, because it's right down the street. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I did see it.
Super close.
Oh, yeah.
My old house was even closer, which
Oh,
was
that's
the
so
best.
funny.
We would just skateboard there, which sounds dumb until you realize that all your
No,
cars
yeah,
aren't going to
but-
start.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the skateboard works, and
Yeah.
you can just go get parts.
Have you done much on like scooters, or do you enjoy scooters at all?
Yeah, I love scooters. You need them for racetracks. And
Yeah,
stuff.
so much.
Yeah, at least electric scooters, and it's easier to pack than a golf cart. That's the thing. Like,
So much.
You don't have
They're
trailer
still
space.
heavy.
Yeah,
They're-
they're still heavy. But either that or a Segway for the racetrack. And then I had some cool stuff like Honda's Moto Compacto, which is like the briefcase motorcycle like that you sit on. Yeah, had that. That was fun.
That sounds so fun.
I sold it because another friend wanted it for an event, and he was like, "Can I rent that from you?" And I was like,
No.
"No, you're gonna wreck it. I'll sell it to you."
Did he wreck it?
Probably. I don't
Oh.
know. I never heard, but I know he still uses it at events.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
that was fun. And then of course I've got like Honda Navi and stuff like that, like a real scooter. Great pit bike.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
super cool.
So I'm into everything. Scooters, skateboards, all electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OneWheels?
Yeah, I loved my OneWheel to death. I had a XR Plus, which is also a cool track toy,
Yeah.
whatever. The thing I worry about with the OneWheel is people stealing it because it's so
Oh.
easy to just grab it.
Grab it,
That I
yeah.
don't take that to track events or anything. So I ended up selling it to a friend.
Oh, really?
Also, they've gotten it crazy. I say they've gotten crazy. I think I paid close to $2,000 for the XR, which is stupid, But the new one's like $3,000, and I can buy cars all day
know,
long
that
for
is-
$3,000.
They're so cool, though. I have never actually tried them because
You haven't?
I don't think I'm coordinated enough to
You
do
could do
so.
it. You could do it. Just try a full size if you can.
Okay.
If
Not like
that's
the pine.
my
ones or
one wheel
anything. Okay.
advice is the pint wheel is so small. It's like this big and it's super round.
Yeah.
And people love it because it's so flexible and you can turn like super tight corners on it.
But maybe a beginner is not so great. for that.
Exactly. Like the ankle strength and balance you have to have combined for the pint, you're like constantly making corrections. The real one wheel's tires like that big and it's like a Hoosier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it can be. They sell it with a Hoosier or something.
Do they really?
Yes.
I didn't
And it's huge, and it's easy to balance.
That sounds really
So-
fun. I didn't realize how ridiculous they had
Oh,
kind of gotten.
they're crazy.
That's
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
Also, it did try to kill me a couple times. I forgot.
Oh,
That's
it's
just an
no big
important.
deal. Just
It's
kinda,
honestly,
it kind of tried to kill me, so I probably just sold it because of that. So,
it's
yeah.
a one-wheel rite of passage. Is that when you're going too fast, they can't overcome it, right? So when you're leading up to full speed, they lean back. The motor pushes you backwards a little bit
okay.
to tell
Yep.
you that you're like at the limit. But when you're like riding it professionally and you have a ton of miles on it, you push over it and you put it back at balance. So you just add a little bit of extra pressure on your front foot and you can ride it full speed, like 24, 25, flat. But then if it hits a bump or some kind of transition in the road, or if something goes wrong, or if your weight shifts
Yeah.
too quickly, the motor can't overcome that anymore and it just shuts off at full speed and you slam into the ground.
Oh, that sounds safe.
Yeah, there was like lawsuits about it and everything.
Yeah, that's
And
not so good.
it did that to me one good time. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to experience that again, because you get tore up when it throws you. But it's so fun though.
They seem so fun, and I like I don't know, it just seems cool.
Yeah,
But especially because I do so much camera stuff, so like
amazing.
being able to do that while I think that would be cool, because like I can't one-hand scooter.
Yes,
I don't.
one-hand scooter is the most dangerous thing. I
yeah.
can't tell you how many times, probably twice, because I do learn every once in a while.
Sometimes.
But I'd say there's been two good ones where the scooter has just obliterated me. And my shoulders can't take, I'm getting old, I can't take too many more big hits.
Yeah.
But like one day, I took the scooter to chase down the UPS man so I could make sure I got my iPhone, something like that. Rode a couple miles on the way back, full throttle, one hand, hits a bump.
Oh, no.
Immediate, just slam into the ground, Yeah, I do a lot of that. A lot of speed wobbles into like extreme pain.
Yeah, the speed wobbles are.
It's not fun.
Not fun.
The
No.
recent one, I've got a bunch of electric skateboards. I was on one, my buddy Jake was on another one. Mine just quit because of a battery issue on my Evolve. So I picked it up, jumped on his, and I'm riding like downhill in Eureka Springs in Arkansas. And I was, 30 minutes into carrying my skateboard that's 40 pounds while riding his and holding everything, remote in one hand. And I finally am almost back to the house. And I was like, you know what? We should go a little faster because we've been having fun.
Okay.
So I get on this downhill, roll into the throttle, and immediately it says like 32. And I was like, it's too fast going downhill. And it's on rubber tires, so you don't get that much control. So I rolled into the brake, and the second I got into the brake, it speed wobbled and just chucked me down the hill. And I took it all on my shoulder, and it's been a year, and it's still in pretty bad.
Shambles.
It's in go to the doctor pain, but I'm not gonna do that.
No. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It could possibly get fixed.
It
but-
could, but I think you just wait until it's too late to get fixed.
Yeah, and then you're stuck with that pain for the rest of your life.
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
You understand? I knew you
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. I deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
But I think we should take this and maybe get it on the road if we can.
We should.
We should.
You should. You
I-
want to drive it?
I can't drive it,
Okay.
but I would love to
It's-
be passenger.
Let's go.
Okay.
It's a
cool.
handful to drive. I can promise you that. It's
Well-
another one that I tell people to go drive because I know that it'll take a while for them just to get going.
Oh, I would screw it up. So
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I don't think you're gonna hurt it. It's an old car with a big engine and a solid transmission.
Okay, well, this
But-
is not necessarily my finest secret, but my manual skills are very bad.
It's fine. But
Very bad.
I totally understand. We'll take it out and we'll take it for a little rip and
Cool.
see what it's like.
Let's go do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been awesome. I hope that you guys stay tuned and see who's on the next CarCast presented by Reilly Auto Parts. And we will see you later. All right.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.